Hello and welcome to Paper Plays Julie K.
Welcome crafty friends, and thank you so much for stopping by and checking out my latest DIY video. Today I'm continuing on my journey of creating as many Christmas trees as I can this holiday season using items in my stash. This is the 11th video in this series. I do have a playlist available for this series along with links in the description box if you are interested in checking them out. Today's video tutorial focuses on a fun shabby lace tree. For today's tree, I think I have another simple but elegant looking tree to create with you today. And I'm starting off with a little bit smaller cone. This one is 7 inches. And again, these cones originally had crochet thread on them that my mom used, and she gifted me the cones after she was done. You can kind of see they're a little bit older when you look at the stickers on the inside. So I'm starting off with this 7-inch cone. I also picked out from my stash this beautiful trim, and it has all this beautiful lace on it. I picked this up several years ago at Hobby Lobby off of the clearance rack, and I have quite a bit of it. It's gorgeous. It is one of those trims that I do hoard. I don't use it very often, but for this tree I think it would be perfect. And then I was also going through my stash trying to figure out what could I possibly do for a tree topper. And so for today's tree, I did pick up these beautiful little like hairpins from the thrift store. I believe that they were used like for like a bridal hair or something for a bride. And I'm thinking I can put them back to back and stick them down the hole. And I think that would be a really pretty topper for this tree. So that's what my plan is. And this one I did not glue a base down on it. I did go ahead and chalk paint it though. And again, I've been using from the Waverly brand that you buy at Hobby Lobby or Walmart, the chalk paint, and it is in the color Plaster, if anybody's wondering what the specific color is. And again, I'll be using hot glue. And I think, again, I'm going to glue one layer down at a time instead of keeping on wrapping up and going. And for this one, I don't have a base on it, but I still think it would be really pretty if I glue it so that this first layer kind of sticks out, maybe like it was like a tree rug underneath the tree. I forget what that word is called. It's just not coming to me. I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about, but like the tree skirt, that's what it's called, tree skirt. I think that would be really pretty as my first layer, and then I make it that way so that it can be flat. So I'm going to glue it down to the very bottom. And again, these ones are like vintage cones, so they are a little bit mangled, but once you put the laces on them, you can't really tell. So again, I'm using hot glue for this. I'm using that new glue gun that I have, and I really do not like this glue gun whatsoever. Oh, I hate it. It just not as user-friendly as my other one. It just doesn't feel right. But it's what I bought, so until this one dies, I guess it's what I have to work with, other than I do have an old one that I might dig out and start using that one, because this one just, it comes out so fast compared to my other one, and I don't like that. It's just not as much control. And then my other one that was like this had, from this exact same brand, had an automatic shut off. And this one doesn't automatically shut off, which I don't like. Like if I walk away because I get distracted or something, I knew that my other one always automatically shut off, where this one doesn't. So I have to remember to turn it off now. So again, I think this one's pretty easy to create. And I just recommend, if you're following along and you don't happen to have this lace, you just pick out some other type of lace that's really pretty in your stash, and you just kind of keep on working your way up with it. There's so many different possibilities with all the gorgeous lace that's out there on the market today. It's just so fun to see what everything looks like. I've been having a lot of fun with this series. So hopefully you guys have been fun enjoying yourselves as you've been following along with me on my little journey of creating as many trees as I can. I'll just keep on creating until I run out of trees, basically. So I don't quite know how many episodes there's going to be. But it's just been fun using up stuff that I've had in my stash that I've hoarded or haven't used yet. I buy a lot of the clearance stuff at Hobby Lobby when they have the trims at 75% off. I can't help myself, so then I buy it, and I use it a lot in Happy Mail when I do swaps with people. But I do have some that I hoard for a little while, and when you can get it at 75% off and you know that it's lace that you spend, $7, $8, $10 a yard, it's just nice to get it when you can get it at 75% off. And then of course nice to be able to share with your crafty friends too when you find it at those great deals. I don't know, this one looks like I rewrapped this one. Oh, maybe there was an original price tag. So this one had 15 yards for $14.85. I don't know what the original price was. I'd have to take this one off that told me how many yards I started with. I don't know if I can see on... This one was $4 a yard, so that one actually isn't too bad. Some of them are more expensive, but I love this trim. That's so shabby. So there's the first little layer, and now I got to decide how far up I want to go up. If I want to keep on doing it that way, or if I want to just go up like an inch and then glue it down. So that's what it would look like if I went up an inch and let this one hang. If I decided to do it right on top of this one and keep on making it puffy all the way up, that's what the second layer would look like. I don't know what I want to do. This is when I wish I did live, so then you guys could say, oh, do it this way, it looks better, or whatever. But just going to wrap a few like this just to see. I think I'm going to not go right above this one. I'm going to start it off just a little bit higher, I think, on this one. I'm tempted to do that, but then I'll use so much of the lace if I only go up the little quarter of an inch that the top part is. And I want to save some of this lace for other projects. So I think that's going to be my deciding factor. I think it'll still look pretty if I go like this. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. So, now that I've been sitting here deciding for however long that was. So I'll do another layer or two with you guys, and then of course I'll finish it off camera, because I don't know, it gets kind of boring, I think, just to watch someone keeping on gluing the same thing over and over again. And I maybe should have drawn lines on this one, just so then my lace stays even. But I think if I try and line it up with what's on the bottom, I think I should be okay. So that's what it looks like so far. I can do one more with you guys before I turn the camera off. And I think I'm going to, leave a little space in between where I glued it down, just so you can kind of see how I'm gluing it. It's just easier for me to look at it straight on versus gluing it this way, like I've done on some of the other ones. So you can kind of see there's, about a ½ an inch. I'm gluing it up about approximately every ½ inch. And I think I'm going to like how that looks. I wish that they had this trim still at Hobby Lobby in different colors, because wouldn't that be beautiful if you had some pink and then you alternated it? Of course, you could probably dye it too, but that seems like a lot of work. So I just got to grab a little bit more off of my spool here. I didn't even pay attention if there was a front side and a back side when I started gluing these. It looks the same from both sides though. So you can kind of see how much of I have just that little bit of overlap right there is how I'm going to glue it down this time around. So there's what the tree looks like so far. I love it. It's very shabby. So I'm going to continue to work my way up, and then when I get to the top, I will come back and do the tree topper with you. So I finished adding the trim to the tree, and I did end up going, instead of half an inch apart, I ended up going 1/4 of an inch apart. I did add more lace in between the layers. I just felt like it wasn't shabby enough. And once I did that, I really fell in love with it. And so here's what it looks like. Then the other thing that I did up at the very top is I just wrapped a couple of flat back pearls around. This is the flat back pearls that I used. And I just cut off what I needed, the strings. I did 3 layers around the top. And that was just too hard to do on camera because I held it down like this. And then used hot glue, and I had to hold it close to my face, so I wasn't able to do that on camera, so I do apologize for that. But I decided it just needed a little bit extra of a topper before I added these pieces. And so again, I think I'm thinking that they will fit. I'm going to stick them in the hole up here on the top and push down on them, and I think that's going to make a really nice top. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit of E6000 inside the hole, just so then when the little bobby pins go in, it'll adhere to the E6000. And then I might end up gluing them together too once I get them in, but we'll see what happens here once I get. And so I'm just going to do one at a time. And I'm just going to push it in as best I can. So that one went in pretty easy. So now I'm going to push this one in, and I think I'm going to put a little bit more E6000 just in between that spot. And I'll push this one down in. So yeah, they went in pretty easy. So hopefully the E6000 will hold them in. I'm just going to use a little pliers just to see if I can push them down a little further in. And I can see some E6000 touching part of the wire work. So I think they're going to stay. So let me show you kind of what it looks like from one view. I'm just going to arrange the little beads a little bit here. So isn't that pretty? I wish I would have thought of these little pieces earlier that were in my stash. But that's really pretty. So I'm glad I did that. So I'm going to go ahead and turn the camera off, and I'll show you a different view. But that's what they look like, or this is what the tree looks like overall. And again, this one I thought was a fairly simple tree to put together. It definitely turned out very shabby looking, just based on the choice of laces that I used on this one. I'm very happy with it.
Thank you again so much for watching today's video. I hope that you've been enjoying this tutorial series on decorating paper mache trees using items from our stashes. I do admit that I really love how this tree turned out, and I especially love the little tree topper that I was able to create using a bridal hairpiece. Don't forget to open up the description box, as I do have links for some of the other episodes available in this series. I look forward to you joining me tomorrow for another episode of Decorating Paper Mache Trees. Until then, have a wonderful day and happy crafting.